This is the Puma One, specifically the Puma One, and it's the Stun Pack colorway, so technically these are the Puma One Stun. And somehow that's not a joke. What's going on, guys? Josh from SoccerReviewsForYou.com, bringing you my review plus on-feet video of the brand new Stun Pack colorway of the Puma One in the kangaroo leather upper variation, which I must say does look quite good. Now, if you've seen any of my videos before, then you know that I tend to have some pretty strong opinions, either positive or negative. And recently I made a video sharing the 5 boots that I would personally never buy, with the Puma One being on that list. Now, in that video, I did not say that these are bad, they're just not for me. And that specific opinion hasn't really changed. However, I have kind of changed my mind in regards to what these do have on offer in comparison to everything else, which I do think is particularly unique, which is going to be the focus of today's review. Why the Puma One, specifically in the leather upper variation, might be worth your time depending on what you're looking for. So if you want to learn more about these, stick around, watch the entire video. We'll go over the details as well as take a look at how they fit and feel on feet. And if you are interested in a pair of these for yourself, I'll leave a little pop-up on screen, or you can click the first link down below. That'll take you to the review page on my website, where you'll find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes, where you'll be able to pick these up below their normal $200 retail price. Also, because these aren't very popular, the older colorways are significantly discounted and will also be linked on that review page. If you guys do end up enjoying this review of the Puma One, be sure to leave one like on this one video and perhaps the next one as well. It would help me out tremendously. Also, if you're not subscribed, click that button one time. Also, the little bell notification one time as well, and you won't miss out on future videos. I upload a new one every single day. Let's start by taking a closer look at the colorway. This is of course part of the Stun Pack, and as you can see, it has this kind of color changing metallic finish to it that looks really good in person. You do not get an idea of how cool these are in pictures that I've seen, but in person and hopefully in this video, you can see as the light hits the boot, it really changes from this kind of teal light blue color to purple, and it has this very metallic shine to it that's consistent across the leather and synthetic bits of the boot, which is cool because typically when they change up the materials that drastically, you end up with color differences and it ends up looking cheap. That is not the case here at all. It also has this really cool chrome Puma form stripe on the lateral side that just looks good with the whole metallic look that they've gone with on this boot. All of the exposed knitted material is kind of lighter blue towards the bottom and then darker blue towards the top, which works well with the overall design. And then the sole plate, as you can see, is pretty much all dark blue translucent, a little bit of metallic silver that's in the actual sole plate itself, so it's not something that's going to wear off over time. And from a looks perspective, this is actually my favorite colorway of the general release ones for the Puma One so far. You ready for a wild comparison? The leather upper variation of the Puma One is pretty much a more structured version of the original My Coach F50 Adizero from Adidas. Think about it for a second. It has leather at the front. In fact, you have kangaroo leather on the Puma One, which is admittedly better quality than what we had on that original My Coach F50. I also happen to think that the Puma One is a better looking boot, although that's not quite as important. It transitions from leather into synthetic, and the synthetic, quite frankly, is just much better quality on the Puma One and also has a little bit more structure to it while still being quite comfortable. And then when you tie the laces tight, the responsiveness and the lockdown is unmatched when you're comparing these two. The Puma One blows it out of the water. You also have large external heel counters at the back, as you can see. And then the sole plate and stud pattern, it's more flexible and quite frankly, I just think better on the Puma One. It's very similar as far as layout is concerned. The number of studs is identical, but because these are slightly narrower in profile and all conical in shape, they tend to penetrate the ground more quickly and just allow for better traction overall. And then when you're talking about weight, they're almost exactly the same as well. In a size 9.5 US, the leather Puma One is going to weigh in at around 7.4 to 7.5 ounces, which admittedly is a little bit heavier than the leather F50 Adizero that I'm holding here, but the weight difference once they're actually on your feet is pretty much non-existent. So basically what I'm getting at here is if you like this one, you'll really like this one, this Puma One. A few other quirks of the leather Puma One that are worth mentioning is that the kangaroo leather at the front, it's soft, it's got a decent thickness to it, which again is very reminiscent of that F50 I was just comparing it to. And instead of stitching, it does have an internal support cage, which is why you see all of those bumps on the surface. It also has this little bit of a sandpaper-like texturing around the outside edge in the forefoot and toe box area for the sake of durability, because this particular stud pattern and the boots as a whole also happen to be FGAG, although personally I find these studs to be a little bit on the longer side for use on artificial grass. So if you play on a shallower pitch, probably not the best option for you, but on firm natural grass, the traction is excellent. Also, something worth noting is that this is technically the unofficial speed boot from the Puma brand. They're about a full ounce lighter than the Future 2.1 in the same size, and the weight difference is definitely very noticeable both in hand as well as on feet when comparing the two. They don't really look like speed boots, but I can assure you that they feel very lightweight on your feet. The responsiveness is also worth noting because while they're very soft towards the front, the midfoot area is extremely locked in and secure. It has a one-piece construction and kind of this unusual mid-cut look to it, although the overall fit and feel in the heel is definitely that of a low-cut shoe. There's nothing to really get used to here. They're very, very comfortable out of the box. Actually very reminiscent in regards to feel at the back of the shoe to that of the Puma Future, but the lockdown through the midfoot is very good. And also, they do incorporate kind of a net fit-like system, but without any netting. Within the knitted area, you're actually going to find 6 extra lacing positions that you can use. It's totally optional on both the lateral and medial side. So if you want extra heel lockdown, and dare I say ankle support, this is probably the only boot out there that when laced up really tightly, if you use some of these extra positions, it can kind of restrict movement of the ankle ever so slightly. So if that's something that you're after, this is really the only boot that I've ever tried that has that kind of structured ankle area feel. That obviously isn't for everybody. I personally don't care for it that much, but if that's a concerning area for you, you might like these. Something else I don't really care for in regards to the Puma One, especially the leather variation, is the inconsistency in the touch, which a lot of people do like. The leather variation is definitely more comfortable and a lot softer through the toe box and forefoot area when they're on your feet. But in regards to touch on the ball, there is a drastic difference in feel between the leather and synthetic parts of the upper, where you get this soft padded leather feel, very premium in the forefoot, but then a thin pingier feel through the midfoot area, which is kind of a harsh transition. But again, pretty much all the leather F50s that so many people really loved had that exact same feature to them. So if you liked it then, you're probably still gonna like it now on the Puma One. So as you can see, I swapped out the stock purplish blue laces for some metallic silver reflective SR4U replacement laces, which accent nicely with the chrome Puma form stripe on the lateral side and just add to the overall metallic look and coloring of this particular boot. Plus it makes yours that much more unique. So if you are looking to change up the style of your boots in a very inexpensive way, the website to go to is www.sr4ulaces.com. There'll be a little pop-up on screen as well as a link down below in the description. So if you're interested in a pair, be sure to go ahead and check that out. On feet, the leather Puma One is extremely comfortable. There really isn't anything to break in. It's more so just a matter of getting used to the way that they feel. And if you tie them really tight, you will find that the midfoot does have a pretty tight squeeze and there's not a lot of give to the synthetic, which makes for a very responsive feel. But if you're sensitive to foot cramping or slightly flat-footed, which I am, it can be something that takes a little bit of getting used to, or just don't tie your laces quite as tight. Either way, once you get used to the boots, they are extremely comfortable and there's really not too much that you have to worry about. Blisters, I would say for most people, are going to be extremely unlikely as long as these fit you properly. As far as the feel of the upper is concerned, the leather at the front is extremely soft. The sole plate is decently flexible as well, so they're not overly stiff in any way. And you can see on my right foot, I've actually used some of the extra lacing positions that are a little bit lower that make for slightly more lockdown in the heel and midfoot area. So again, it's something to play around with once you actually have the boots, if you are looking for a little bit more lockdown than just how they are laced up stock out of the box, which does feel perfectly fine as well. It's just nice that they give you that option. As far as width is concerned, width-wise, they're definitely a lot wider in the forefoot and toe box area, and because it is kangaroo leather, It will stretch as you break them in, but the base width of the shoe I would say is pretty decent, to the point where they are going to fit most people. Just don't expect too much stretch through the midfoot area of the boot where it is synthetic. As far as sizing is concerned, I'm wearing these in my usual size 9.5 US, and the fit and the length is absolutely perfect. So just like the Puma Futures, if you are looking to order a pair for yourself, I would strongly recommend going true to size in order to achieve the best possible fit. So in conclusion, I happen to think that the leather Puma One One is very, very good. Certainly better than any of the Puma One models to come out before it. However, it is not a go-to boot for me. It's just not what I like in a pair of football boots when it comes to fit and feel. I think they're comfortable. I do like the way that they perform, but from a feel perspective, I like to have something more consistent across the entire foot in regards to touch. However, if you were a fan of those kind of half synthetic, half leather F50 Adizeros that we used to get from the Adidas brand, that is basically what we're getting here with this leather Puma One One, but with better quality and better overall performance characteristics, if you ask me, having tried both. So if you're a fan of those, you'll probably be a fan of these. Anyways, guys, that's it for my review. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to support this one with a like. Again, if you're interested in a pair of these for yourself in this color or any of the other colorways, they'll all be linked on the review page of my website, which is the first link down below. Go ahead and check it out. As usual, if you have any questions, leave them down below in the comments, and I'll do my best to get an answer out to you as soon as I possibly can. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information linked down below in the description as well. And other than that, guys,